Are you looking at meat rabbits and you're wondering, do they make good pets as well? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video, so stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to another slightly rednecked video. Again, my name is Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. Today we're talking about meat rabbits as pets. This is my California buck right here, and you can see I've got him out of the cage. He's fairly calm right now. What you can't tell is he's kind of tensed up. He loves attention. He loves when I open that cage, reach in, scratch his forehead a little bit, give him some petting. Really loves that. What he does not like is being picked up. So let me put him back in his cage. We'll continue this video. I'll give you my thoughts on using meat rabbits as pets. Okay, so can meat rabbits be good pets? You know, there's an exception to every rule, but in general, meat rabbit breeds don't make really good pets. And there's a couple of reasons for that, especially if you're getting purebred meat rabbit stock. New Zealand white, California, silver foxes, some of those kinds of things. Because they've been bred specifically for the purpose of providing meat. So they've been bred to have big litters that grow out fast and have lots of weight on them. And not for temperament. So you're not really usually going to find really friendly rabbits that like to be handled a whole lot when it comes to meat rabbit breeds. Again, there's exceptions to every rule. Now you saw me at the beginning of the video with my buck, had him out of the cage. Again, he likes attention quite a bit. He loves to have his head scratched. He loves for me to pet him a little bit. He does not like to be picked up. So it depends on really what you consider to be a pet. If you just want a rabbit that you can reach in and pet quite a bit, or maybe you've got a large outdoor enclosure and you want to be able to go in and sit down with them and have them come up to you and pet them, but you don't want to pick them up, then yeah, meat rabbits work fine for that. They'll come up to you. Not every rabbit. It depends on the individual rabbit, of course. But most of them are pretty easy to get to acclimate to you. They'll come up to you. They might sniff you a little bit, might let you pet them a little bit. But again, they're not going to want to be picked up and cuddled. Not only that, but he's an awful big rabbit. I mean, he's close to 10 pounds right there, and he's got some pretty sharp back feet. Now, he's not too bad about it, but most meat rabbits, you go to pick them up, boy, they start kicking those back feet, and they can just claw the heck out of you. So not really a good choice, especially if you've got young children around that want to pick them up. Those back feet and those claws, those toenails on them, can be really sharp and really dangerous and really scratch you up quite a bit. Even do some pretty deep cuts on you, actually. Not a good choice for, like I said, having kids around. Now, let's talk about a couple of things, though, because there are some things that I found in generalities. In general, my experience anyway, and you may have different experience, but purebred New Zealand's tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say grumpy, less adaptive to handling in my experience than Californias. Californias do seem to tolerate it a little bit better, seem to be a little bit just generally friendlier than New Zealand's do. But again, there's exceptions to every rule. You'll find individuals in those breeds that aren't easy to handle. You'll find individuals in New Zealand's that are easy to handle. So there's exceptions to that all the time. Another general thing that you might look for is if you're really just dead set on getting a pet is males tend to be, oh buddy, you're climbing out of the cage, are you? See, he likes the attention. He likes to be petted, but does not like to be picked up. So males in general tend to be a lot easier to handle than females. And again, that's not every male and that's not every female, but in my experience, almost all my male rabbits have been pretty tolerant of being handled, even seem to enjoy it a little bit, just to come up to the front of the cage, let you scratch their forehead and those kinds of things. Whereas the females tend to want to cower back in the back of the cage, don't want to be messed with at all, just want to be left alone, get very territorial of their cages. Some of them can even get aggressive to the point of when you stick your hand in there, they jump at you and try to scare you away from their cage. So if you're looking for a pet and it has to be a meat rabbit breed, then you might look at the bucks. They tend to be a little bit easier to handle. Closed his cage up here real quick so he doesn't sneak out behind me or something. Don't know that he would, but just in case, don't want that to happen, especially not on film. That would be bad, wouldn't it? Okay, so to sum this kind of up for you, if you're looking for just a pet out of your rabbit, you probably want to stay away from the meat rabbit breeds. They're not really the best choice for pets. You're going to want to look at something that's a little bit more easier to handle, that's traditionally a pet rabbit. You know, hot tots, mini rexes, lop ears, some of those kinds of rabbits that are just traditionally more pet bunnies than they are meat rabbits. And even some of those can be a little bit tricky and difficult to handle, so just keep that in mind when you go to pick one out. Make sure it tolerates being picked up, make sure it tolerates being handled quite easily. They don't typically bite, but what you do have to watch out for is their back legs and the kicking and the scratching, and that's the dangerous part in a rabbit. If you are looking for dual purpose, where you want to get meat and pets out of your rabbits, then you might look at some mixed breeds. They tend to be a little bit more easy to handle in some cases. You don't necessarily get the great grow outs that you do with purebreds all the time, but you kind of trade one for the other, and you might just get lucky. You might find some purebred meat rabbits that are just easy to handle and friendly as can be. More than likely, it's going to be your buck. You're going to keep your buck as the pet, and your females will probably end up just being breeders where you don't handle them too much, and unless it's time for breeding, because if it stresses your rabbit out, you're best just not doing that. And I find that with my females anyway, really very much handling it all, it really stresses them out. They don't like that, and you'll know when they're stressed out because they'll tense up. You'll just feel them tense up, and they'll be just all tense the whole time. And it's really the best way to explain it, really, but you'll be able to tell that. It's pretty obvious. Whereas you can see well, you probably can't see them on film, but they're all kind of relaxed and laid out right now. If I go reaching my hand in there and try to pet them or something, boy, they just tense up automatically. Now, he doesn't do that. He'll come right to the front of the cage and let me scratch his head. But again, if I pick him up, that's when he tenses up. He doesn't like to be picked up too much. So leave me some comments below. Let me know if you have a different experience with a specific breed that seems to be a little bit easier to manage, or a little bit more tolerant of handling, or if you have some tricks for making your rabbits a little bit more tolerant for handling, any of those kinds of things. Thank you to my subscribers for watching this video, and thank you if you're brand new to this video, or to my series anyway, my channel. If you are, hit that subscribe button below to stay up with my content. Join us on Thursday evenings at 7 o'clock Central Time. I do a live broadcast pretty much every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock Central. Usually lasts for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I do my best to answer every single question and every single comment that comes through the chat windows there. So far I've been able to do that, but I can't promise, so don't be offended if I don't get your question answered in there. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, God bless.